Alright, so I'm going to do a video today that was kind of asked for, and it's going to be the first video. The second video may not come out anytime soon because it's about Legend of the Five Rings. And one thing I don't have to give an accurate reporting is access to a bunch of old information. The used groups that were part of the internet back in the 1990s, you would need those to cover this topic. And to have an extensive card collection that covers all cards. I don't have that either. We're going to be talking about the results of tournaments, the winner's choices for Legend of the Five Rings. It's one of the unique things about Legend of the Five Rings is, back in the day, players could influence the outcome of the storyline. I don't have all the information. Most of it, for the really good stuff, was lost to those Usenet groups back in the 90s. You'd have to have access to all of those for the most part to have the full picture. Secondly, once Diamond Edition came along, we had the tournament results be printed on the side of the card like this. Much more so after Samurai and Lotus Edition came along. You just look at the card and the card will tell you where it comes from. Legend of the Five Rings tournament results, the ones that are really interesting to talk about, are the older ones. The newer cards have them printed on the cards. Let's go ahead and look into what we have as far as winner results for Legend of the Five Rings. Really all started back in 1995. Had a bunch of original tournaments. And one of the original tournaments, they were going to make a decision. We're going to make a starter set for this game. Whoever is the semifinalist gets placed as the starter set factions for Legend of the Five Rings. We were given the Battle of Biden Pass, my ancient copy. This is the box I've always owned. So I really should buy a replacement because damn, it's falling apart. The Dragon and the Crab were the first two clans to win anything. They got the starter set, essentially, as a result of winning all the really original tournaments. They said they include exclusive rare cards. I think this is what caused the Crab to go as Shadowlands as they did, because this is actually a very amazing card. Dire is pretty cool, but this card is way cooler. You sacrifice a few useless follower tokens or goblins or something, and it just keeps on churning out 8 force for almost no gold. Yeah, 6 gold, that's pretty cheap. So this is actually a pretty great card. One of the events we know about is the Test of the Emerald Champion, in which the Crab, the Dragon, and the Crane looks to win the right to be the martial leader of the Empire. That went to the Crane, of course. I don't have the card for Kakita Toshimoko. This is his original card with the awesome Quentin Hoover art. The other one did too, his experienced version. But the Crane won the Test of the Emerald Champion and got to have the Emerald Champion as their own. They also had a contest to resurrect a dead champion. I don't have that one, that card, but that was the Scorpion Clan. They won that and got Shoju, which at this point in time, it seems really organic that Shoju was the dead champion that rose again, right? I don't know if this was a specific morsel that was tossed out to the Scorpion Clan for winning, or if this was a thing that they were going to give all the clans, and then maybe later one of the other clans would get a dead champion from their undiscovered past. We don't know. We don't know. Or at least I don't know. Someone else out there may know. There's also another one where the Egg of Panku gets to copy someone. The Scorpion Clan also won that one, and we got the False Hattori out of that. I think this stands as the most easy to get promotional card from the original run of promotional cards in the original 1995 through 1997 setting. This came in multiple different magazines, and I think it was available also through Koku Exchange buy-in, so you could exchange, box tops essentially for this card. Another clan got the ability to cash in on the Shadowlands power. The Phoenix got that, but also as a drawback for that, their clan was destined to fall to the Shadowlands. That's just how the Shadowlands works. So the Phoenix got a new stronghold that allowed them to bring out Phoenix Clan personalities for 7 gold. But they got Shadowlands taint as a result of doing that. There's also a player choice that supposedly was won by the Lion, but I found some evidence that it may have been a twist they gave to the Lion instead. A champion dies. When the Lion Clan won that, their champion, Suko, committed seppuku. At that point, no one had committed suicide in the game yet, and everybody's knows samurai for falling on their own swords. Well, I don't know if there was a different choice. If another clan won, if they could pick out a different clan to have their champion die. But as a result of this one, the Lion were chose to have their own champion die. And let me show you the little clip that I have here that shows, yeah, this is the evidence I have that was probably rigged by the storytelling team. When it comes to the choice of Clan Thunders for the original series, that I don't know. I believe if there was a choice involved, it was secluded to the different user groups for each of the clans and to their Imperial Herald subscription group. I don't believe anybody else had a say on that. And I don't know what they were. I wasn't actually involved that deeply into it. I wasn't ever part of the tournament scene back when the original L5R run was released. That's another thing. There's no known archive of all those clan letters, so I don't know what was going on back in those days. There used to be websites that have stuff like that, but all those old websites, a lot of them are hosted on things like Tripod or Angelfire. They're gone now. In fact, I looked for the Jade Hand, which is a very recent tournament posting site, and it's now bought by the Chinese. Well, it would make sense. It's the Jade Hand, right? But oh well. The Day of Thunder, we know that John Wick wrote a different ending for each of the clans and then threw it out. There is actually an Imperial Herald that describes that, yes, John Wick threw out the original ending for the clan that won the overall Gen Con tournament for the Day of Thunder. So whatever those were are lost to time, and I'm willing to bet John Wick is not going to be barfing those up anytime soon. I mean, it'd be nice if he did. The game is in its second stage of death, really. And it'd be nice to know what was going on, almost 30 years ago. One thing we had come to mind is the marriage of Hida Oushi. And that was a tournament in which a character chosen from that clan got to marry into the Crab clan. And it was between, Oushi represented herself, so she wouldn't have to marry. And the Crane had Daidoji Uji fighting. But they knocked each other out, which left Last Man Standing as Shinjo Yokatsu, a loser from the Unicorn Clan. I love that ending. It's a great ending. I love stories like that. During Gold Edition, they threw out a bunch of factions. So we did see a win result where the Mantis could return in 2002, as well as the return of the Ratlings, or the rise of the Ratlings as a playable faction, in 2003. After Gold Edition, sidebars in the cards were the standard for recognizing what happened during tournaments. I know the Phoenix defeated the Shadowlands at the Battle of Oblivion's Gate in one of the year 2000 tournaments. Also in the year 2000, the Air Dragon was given the Shadowlands taint during the last tournament game, and therefore the Air Dragon became the Shadow Dragon. I wish I had the Shadow Dragon's card somewhere. I only have the small, inexperienced version that sucks. But that one has the ninja trait. It's a dragon. It's actually really cool, and one of the more unique results to come out of these player choices. That would also have lasting effects because the Shadow Dragon became a key ally of Daigotsu during the whole Spider Clan arc. So there's that. The Crane would retake the Emerald Championship in 2001 with Yasuki Hachi. I don't have his card, sorry. You'll start noticing a trend where if Shadowlands aren't winning tournaments, the Scorpion Clan are. It's almost like the Shadowlands have the power and the Scorpion Clan players have the organization power. Now in 2002, the French Championship had the return of the second half of the Tau, the lost chapters of the Tau. I don't know how that affects the game overall. The Tau was never really a big thing. They were always rewriting how the 5 rings worked anyway. In 2002 at Gen Con, a Scorpion Clan win allowed for Sudao to become the Empress of Rokugan, as short as that lived was. The Gen Con for UK had there be less survivors overall because the Shadowlands won. Also in 2005, we have at Gen Con, the Crane Victory awarded them a full-fledged foil deck that you could purchase as it was. I don't have that. I do have something different. The Ratlings got a foil deck as their send-off gift. And this actually, I forgot if I actually have the original. Some, but not all. But they have an all-foil deck that's actually a pretty good deck. I actually like it quite a bit. And this Ratling deck was the send-off for Ratlings leaving the game, essentially. They performed a great heroic sacrifice and went off to tomorrow. So there are the Ratlings. There was also the marriage of Toturi Miyako to the Scorpion. I forgot what that was for, but that was the result of a win, and it really irked a lot of the neutral/Toturi fans because they were really keen on keeping independent. The developers had this almost psychotic desperation of making everything fit into a clan because after all, it is a game, right? Everything's supposed to fit into something, right? But the independent-minded Totori people had their firstborn daughter and daimyo married off to the Scorpion. Dang it, those Scorpion. That's another thing. The Scorpion player base is so organized. It's like working with the Mafia. They're going to get their wins in, and they're going to hurt when they do. Weirdly enough, in 2009 for Race to the Throne, there was a Dragon versus Scorpion race, see who could get the top results in the Race for the Throne. The Dragon got that, and they won the rights to be the new Emperor of Rokugan. In 2007, we had the Rise of the Spider, but I don't think the Spider ever got made a clan because of a win. They were implemented by the story team, so that's different. Prove me wrong. Go ahead. There's a few other modern choices I'm aware of. We had the Lion Clan and the Crane Clan. There's a tournament called the Light of the Moon and the Light of the Sun. Light of the Sun got the Jade Hand, and that was Lion Clan. Light of the Moon was Crane Clan, so they got the Obsidian Hand. And so here we have it. Those two hands got passed on to heroes of the Celestial Age. Also, I showed you this earlier. In 2011, the Imperial Championship was won by a Unicorn Clan personality. So Ji-Yun got to be the Imperial Champion for, I do think, what was his name? Noritoshi, was it? The Scorpion Clan guy that was the Emerald Champion before or after this. I forgot which one it was. I was kind of upset at some of the choices, but for a different reason. I never liked the fact that the Spider Clan kept just going back to being reskinned Shadowlands. I mean, in 2011, a lot of the major wins that were made back in 2011 were just Oni decks and Goblin decks disguised as Spider decks. And I was really disappointed at that. And so even though I was a Spider Clan player at the time, I was really feeling a bitter taste in my mouth, and I realized these are not my people. It was really sad. But yeah, so there's my first offering as to the tournament wins in Legend of the Five Rings. It's really something I don't have a good... I don't record this shit. This is not my job. I'm not a historian, although I'm turning into one. As a result, I don't have all of the stuff I need to really be an effective L5R historian. So I'm sorry for that. But here it is. Legend of the Five Rings no longer has an active card game with active tournaments, actively shaping the story path of the world. And so I say to all you guys that did play and did kick in and got your names in the Imperial Heralds, thank you. Thanks for jumping in and making these choices and playing these games. Let's hope in the future some miracle happens or we can actually do this again. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and hopefully you have a terrific rest of your week.